Good Monday. This is Jay Brew, co-chairman of Seafried and Brew. Well, I'm wearing a special bow tie today, and that bow tie has a cow jumping over the moon. Because when we talk about net overhead, is that for many community banks, it's like the cow jumping over the moon to suggest that strategically one should be able to control net overhead at a very efficient level. And we want to talk about this on a number of different sides, both the non-interest income as well as non-interest expense, which is what makes up net overhead. And the thing that I usually say to boards is that they should strategically set the overall level of net overhead, then allow management to manage both the non-interest income and the non-interest expense. So we want to look at national trend levels. And here we have overall net overhead coming down in here, down to right now a 2.25%, which is positive it's coming down. But you always have higher net overheads during times like we went through with the financial crisis, the Great Recession, of course increasing net overheads because of dealing with loan issues. So it's coming down, which is good. It's coming down at almost the exact same rate as non-current loans, but it's still not low enough. So that strategically when you look at this is that what level should you be setting in terms of your net overhead? The place to go is to look at the S&B top 15th percentile community banks, where you're looking at net overhead being in the 1.65 to 1.75% level. And that's a big difference. A full 50 basis points is a lot of earning potential. So that now when we're in this budgeting season and looking strategically at 2013 is that the national median should be looking to cut that overall net overhead, I feel, substantially. You go back historically. Historically, this national average was always around 2%. So it's still high compared to history, but on an overall strategic basis is that this is the number that we need to hit. We need to get our net overheads down into this area. And you say, well, how can we do that? Well, that's the cow jumps over the moon. Because when we look at it, there's all different ways. And the thing that I usually sit there and say is go to the bank that has very low net overhead. How do they do it? Because my guess is if they can do it, you can do it because of the community bank business model being so similar. So I want to take you to look at Embassy Bank, which is the bank that I'm a founding director of. And the thing that we're very proud of, for instance, is that when you look at assets per employee, the national benchmark is around 4.6 million in assets per employee. Look at Embassy, 9.7 million in assets per employee. You look at loans per employee at 7,330,000 versus 2,843,000 for the national benchmark. Deposits per employee, 8,200,000 compared to 3,800,000. You're looking at numbers that are almost double what the national average is. What is Embassy doing that other banks aren't doing in order to have these kind of efficiencies? Look at overall branch productivity at Embassy at 92 million. Once again, almost double where the national benchmark is. And then you look at revenue per employee at 85.36 compared to 50.2. So we look at these numbers and sit there and say, cow jumped over the moon, or can we put in place strategies that's going to reduce down our overall net overhead in here and do this through efficiencies? Because as I think about the community bank of the future, is the community bank of the future a big part of their profitability absolutely has to be in net overhead control. So when we look at this, is that the non-interest expense piece is really, based on our bank, very employee driven. We're going to talk next week about non-interest income and what are the key elements that you should be looking at non-interest income to create a strategy that also helps to reduce net overhead. This is Jay Brew. Have a great week.